Hello everyone, good evening. Antonio is my name, and this evening we're doing chapter 19. Welcome to another chapter of the book of Genesis. And so here we go, chapter 19. And there came two angels to Sodom at even, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom, and Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them, and he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. And he said, Behold now, my Lord, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and ye shall rise early, and go on your ways. And they said, Nay, but we will abide in the streets all night. And he pressed upon them greatly, and they turned in unto him, and entered into his house. And he made them a feast, and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. So in other words, the locals of Sodom found out that Lot had guests over, and so they went over his house and they surrounded his house, essentially what it's talking about. And they said unto Lot, and they called unto Lot, and said unto him, Where are the men which came in to thee this night? Bring them out unto us, that we may know them. Getting to know somebody is not what they meant, if you know what I'm talking about in this particular verse. Verse 6, And Lot went out at the door unto them, and shut the door after him, and said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. Because what they were asking is not cool. Behold now, I have two daughters which have not known men. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and do ye to them as good as is good in your eyes. In other words, Lot offered his two daughters virgins instead of the guests, the two angels that were men. Only unto these men do nothing, for therefore came they under the shadow of my roof. And they said, Stand back. And they said again, This one fellow came in to sojourn, and he will needs be a judge. In other words, here you are sojourning with us in Sodom. Now you want to be the judge of us? Stand back. Now will we deal worse with thee than with them? And they pressed sore upon a man, even Lot, and came near to break the door. But the man, in other words, the guests, but the men put forth their hand and pulled Lot into the house to them, and shut the door. And they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door. In other words, the angels had smote or cast blindness upon the men that they had surrounded the house. And the men said unto Lot, Hast thou here any besides? In other words, is there anyone else here with you? Son-in-law, and thy sons, and thy daughters, and whatsoever thou hast in the city, bring them out of this place, for we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxen great before the face of the Lord, and the Lord hath sent us to destroy it. And Lot went out and spake unto his sons-in-law, which married his daughters, and said, Up, get you out of this place, for the Lord will destroy the city. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons-in-law. His sons-in-law did not believe Lot when he told him, Look, this city's about to go up in flames, get out of here. Or at least come with me and my daughters. But anyway, verse 15. And when the morning arose, then the angels hastened Lot, saying, Arise, take thy wife and thy two daughters, which are here, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of the city. And while he lingered, the man laid hold upon his hand, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hand of his two daughters, the Lord being merciful unto him being Lot, and his daughters and wife. And they brought him forth, and set him without the city. So in other words, the angels dragged Lot and his wife and daughters outside of the city. And it came to pass, when they had brought them forth abroad, that he said, Escape for thy life, look not behind thee. That's a commandment, by the way. Neither stay thou in all the plain, escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed. And Lot said unto them, Oh, not so, my lord. Wow. Behold now, thy servant hath found grace in thy sight, and thou hast magnified thy mercy, which thou hast showed unto me in saving my life. And I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some evil take me and I die. I guess he thought he couldn't make it to the mountain with his wife and daughters. Behold now, this city is near to flee unto, and it is a little one. Oh, let me escape thither. Is it not a little one? And my soul shall live. And he said unto him, See, I have it. And he said unto him, the angel said unto Lot, See, I have accepted thee concerning this thing also, that I will not overthrow this city for the which thou hast spoken. Haste thee, escape thither, for I cannot do anything till thou be come thither. Therefore the name of the city was called Zoar. In other words, the angels of the Lord were going to overthrow Zoar also, but because Lot was sojourning there during the escape, they decided not to destroy Zoar. The sun was risen upon the earth when Lot entered into Zoar. Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven. Brimstone is sulfur. So sulfur and fire rained out of heaven and burned Sodom and Gomorrah. I'm going to leave a link in the description below regarding a documentary about Sodom and Gomorrah, because these cities were found, and it is exactly as this book described, as this chapter described. Nothing grows there. There's nothing there, nothing but ashes. You'll see for yourself. Verse 25, and he overthrew those cities and all the plain and all the inhabitants of the cities and that which grew upon the ground. But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. She was warned not to look behind. And Abraham get up early in the morning to the place where he stood before the Lord. I guess Abraham, he got up early in the morning to worship. He's always did. Verse 28, and he looked towards Sodom and Gomorrah and toward all the land of the plain, and behold, and lo, the smoke of the country went up as the smoke of a furnace, and furnaces burn really hot. And it came to pass, when God destroyed the cities of the plain, that God remembered Abraham, and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow, when he overthrew the cities in the which Lot dwelt. So for the sake of Abraham was Lot saved in the cities that got burned, Sodom and Gomorrah in this case. Verse 30, and Lot went up out of Zoar and dwelt in a mountain, and his 2 daughters with him, for he feared to dwell in Zoar. And he dwelt in a cave, he and his 2 daughters. I guess that Zoar was a scary place to be at. Probably why the Lord wanted to overthrow that city also. But for the sake of Lot, chose not to do that. And the firstborn said, now they're in a cave now, in a mountain. And the firstborn daughter of Lot said unto the younger one, our father is old, and there is not a man in the earth to come in unto us after the manner of all the earth. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night. And the firstborn went in and lay with her father. And he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. And it came to pass on the morrow, the day after, that the firstborn said unto the younger, behold, I lay yesternight with my father. Let us make him drink wine this night also, and go thou in and lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night also. And the younger arose and lay with him, and he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. Thus were both the daughters of Lot with child by their father. And the firstborn bare a son, and called his name Moab. The same is the father of the Moabites unto this day. And the younger, she also bare a son, and called his name Ben-Ami. The same is the father of the children of Ammon unto this day. And that concludes chapter 19 of the book of Genesis in the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. As I mentioned, I'm going to leave a link below in the description where you can find a documentary about the Sodom and Gomorrah being destroyed. And yeah, you guys could actually go yourselves there today and carve some sulfur out for yourselves and see for yourselves what has become of that place. And on that note, I wish you guys a good evening and thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.